So I'm going to get right into the nitty-gritty of this video. You're lost. What seemed to work to help you build your gym to where it is now is no longer working. What got you to the stage you're at now isn't helping you get to that next stage. You're grasping in every little marketing direction you can just to find any sort of outcome, but are ultimately dissatisfied. Do you remember those days? Those days when you first opened your gym and the excitement and the hustle you had on the phone to bring in new members? Or you got to the point where you're finally able to spend a couple $1,000s on advertising just to start bringing in those 50 to 60 gym memberships. Well, those ads and those phone calls now seem like a waste of time and the money you put into them as you continue to feel this sort of marketing fatigue as you have no idea what's going to get you to that next stage. Well, here's the thing. That spray wall effect that you were utilizing before isn't going to get you past the validation stage like it did before. And if you want to get to stage 3 or even stage 4 of gym ownership, that validation is really no longer needed. Today, I'm going to walk you through 3 branding pillars that if you as a gym owner start embracing today, you can start evolving not just your gym, but actually start building a much more sustainable lead flow. Because it's really not hard to get leads, people. You know what is hard? People. Today, I'm really going to walk you through these 3 pillars that you can do right now. First off, we're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about how being a gym owner is a people business. And then within that, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper on the people itself and how you can start building a much better team. And then lastly, we're going to talk about experiences. How do experiences really affect the internal and the external retention within your gym? I want you to go back again. I want you to remember when you first opened your gym. You were so determined to bring in members to help them. That feeling is now feeling overlooked by staring at these numbers on a screen, or even worse, who have just become a glorified manager. When you think of branding, you may think of a logo, blah, 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 blah. Even though those things are important, your brand and the tangibles are important, which we'll talk a lot about a little bit later, your gym is going through a growth phase. And you're starting to build an actual identity, an identity that is actually going to start breeding and having this personality, its own thoughts. So as we dive into these 3 branding pillars, there's something we really need to focus on. I said earlier, we could talk about logos, we could talk about colors, but guess what? Those things are only the tangibles, like I mentioned before. They can help you get to where you want to go, but they're honestly not as important as you. You are the essence of your gym. You want to start building this internal you that actually helps leading others around future culture and allowing them to start leading themselves to do the right things. How do you do this? How do you shift from being that manager, so to say, to becoming much more of a leader? Well, 1, you want to start building these achievable goals, not just for yourself, but for your team. You want to start leading by example. You want to start creating these SOPs and this direction that you have already done that can start helping others feel more confident in building themselves. So how do you start silencing those doubters? Well, you are the personality for your gym. You're the one that needs to build that authenticity around the vision of what you originally wanted. We talked earlier about how what you first did when you opened your gym and how you had so much vision and grind and perseverance to make it to a certain level. Well, there comes a time where, unfortunately, that starts to become lost. You want to start bringing that back in. You want to actually take a step back and look at yourself to see, how can I start leading by example and build a gym to help other people? Now, as we start diving in a little bit more about you, I have a question for you. What are some of the things that you are working on right now in your gym that you could possibly change or implement right now to help you move the needle a little bit more forward? Right in the comment box down below. As you continue to start working on yourself, you're going to start seeing that the biggest drive in any sort of marketing tactic or team is that people. You have to deal with prospects, you have to deal with hiring, you have to deal with rehiring, possibly bringing in more A players. And as you continue to do that, people will be one of the hardest things that you have to deal with on a constant basis, not just for the growth of yourself, but for the growth of the industry as a whole. But here's the thing, people will be what gets you from stage stage 2 to stage 3, and even further, if you're a gym owner that's looking to make it to stage 4, which is really that point in time when you're going from, 500 to $1 million a year to possibly 1 to 3 million a year, you're going to start opening multiple locations. And within these multiple locations, you're going to have to start dealing with communication and vision amongst multiple spots in what you're trying to do as you continue to build that gym. And building your onboarding processes, building those SOPs and how you're going to get certain people to do certain things. If you're going to have trainers, are you going to move from freelance trainers that just come in and train? Are you going to actually build a system of moving to W-2 and starting to bring in certain people that focus on certain things? These are the types of decisions you're going to have to make as you get to that point where profits are going to dwindle, as you start making sure you're still delegating about 10% to marketing. You're still making sure that you have a good top line revenue and bottom line revenue as you continue to advance and make it to that next stage of gym ownership. And as part of these first 2 pillars of branding, I really want to bring an emphasis here on your personal values and how they will move you from a me to a we, and how you'll start utilizing your personal values to your brand values. Because I'll be honest with you, your business and your brand and the gym that you're starting to grow is going to be, in essence, an evolution of you and the way you do things as a person, the way you treat other people, and the types of people that you bring in to focus on customer service, things of that nature. Let me give you an example here. When you first open your gym, I get it. You probably bought the cheapest equipment you possibly could just to get by and start making those first few memberships. You probably started to follow the same patterns in the same directions that you saw some of your competitors make down the street, if they be a big box gym, if they be a, another sort of smaller gym that you're kind of working on. But it's really time for you to do something different. I'm not saying reinvent the wheel. You should always go off of certain processes, but there's something about making your gym members want to come to the gym, want to have that inspiration to take 1 or 2 hours and go and work out, work on their mental health, work on possibly their physical health, work on their eating habits. And that says a lot when it comes to the retention of prospects and what they're trying to get out of their dollar as they're trying to make it to the next level as a person in themselves. Now, before we go any further, please, I love if you could tackle that subscribe button and give a like to this video. It really helps the algorithm, as we're really trying to help as many gym owners and managers as we can try to help their gym make it to the next level. So what am I saying here? Am I saying go out and spend $60,000? No, but what I'm really telling you is communication comes amongst different formats. If you look at branding in its core, that's all it really is. Communication. You have your visual communication, you have your messaging, you have your hearing. And those are the experiences that are going to start bringing a welcoming presence to a certain type of audience. So that leads us to the correlation of our final topic, which is experiences in general. What is the correlation between branding and business? Well, it's that experience, your team. If you start building a much more advanced vision, you start implementing it on your team, you're going to start building consistency in those types of communications amongst the way you market yourself, the way you bring in new members, the way you use your members to bring in more members as advocates, the way your team becomes more involved and wants to actually improve your gym. Now, with that, we're branding experts. That's what we do. We help with branding and we help with marketing. And what I have seen a big correlation between experiences amongst multiple gyms, and we won't really get into the nitty-gritty of these really big, fancy, high-end gyms. And by that, I mean the brick and mortars that you're probably competing with, but they have this a little bit too. But is your offline and your online experience and how those position with each other and how those match up. I'll tell you first things first. When I'm looking for a gym, when I'm decided, hey, I'm going to go out, I'm going to find a new gym. Even if I'm just starting out, first thing that I will do, I'm going to take out my phone, I'm going to go and I'm going to look, I'm going to scroll, find on Google, what is the closest gym to me? What am I going to find? I'm going to find 2, 3, maybe 4 gyms that are in my local area. Of course, gym memberships, you want to have them for a long time. You want them to be far enough away from home, but not far enough. But at the same time, you start reading these reviews, see people saying, oh, this gym sucks, their machines are broken, or I had to deal with another member that did this or did that. And that just shows a mismatch in the communication and the well-being of why would I want to experience that? So I'll probably pick the one just a little bit further away that has better reviews or better advocates that talk about how great this gym is. And your online presence needs to match that ethos of what your vision is within the gym. And so you being able to have good reviews, you being able to make sure your website and everything that they are experience online, even down to how the trainers post on social media, how the communication between me going to your website and if I'm going to have that same feel as I go to the gym itself is going to match. And that's really what you need to take away. And that's really what the visual side of branding really is. It's that ability for you to be able to represent an experience to your audience that will actually help them feel I'm at home here. This matches me. This matches who I am. And that's actually part of a process that we entail amongst all of our clients is making sure that we can get that vision and that consistency amongst all forms of communication that you have within your gym atmosphere. Let's talk about the next one I really want to talk about is your offers. If you have these offers, let's say 1 month free, or let's do this, let's do a challenge. Let's say you're talking about a challenge here and you have this challenge where you're getting people to come in to do a free type of workout. What does that really say about you and your gym? I bet you this is what's happening. You're spamming calls, doing advertisement on Facebook, stuff that really seems, I'm not going to say lazy because you are spending a lot of money, but you're like, one free workout. What type of people are you going to come get in? You're going to get people that want a free workout. Those aren't going to be the ones that want to really push. Yes, you may get a few that are just looking to push that needle a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with challenges, but you want to start thinking about your offers in ways you can start helping a specific audience. You want to get to know them a little bit more. What kind of things are actually really going to focus them in? Maybe it's a one-on-one session as their first preliminary. Maybe it's half off their gym membership if they decide to bring another person along within the group. There's a plethora of things you can do. And to be honest with you, without us going through a brainstorm session, I can't really give you the best answer that's going to fit you. But what I really want you to take away from this is you want to start utilizing you and your team and your existing members to come out with offers that are actually going to hit your prospects within your area from a much more deeper level. For example, maybe you set up a community, go to a community event, and maybe you actually you do a free assessment of some sort. Maybe it's, you could be focusing on body fat as one of your situations, but I'm just rambling now. But overall, these are the types of things I really want you to focus on when you're trying to match your offers with the experience that you're providing. And I would say go into a much deeper offer kind of development situation where you can do a little bit of give and take, and you can find what's really going to bring them in the door now, but at the same time, keep them for a long period of time. And a lot of that's going to have to do with getting into the psyche of the type of member you want to be associated with your specific positioning at your gym. Lastly, I want to talk about the difference between price points and experience here. There's one thing that I think a lot of people get mismatched when they think about experiences. They think, oh, and I'm going to be honest, we had a prospect come at us with this a couple of months ago. They came in, their brand and the inside of their facility was, I'll be clear, it was lazy. It might have been a beginning phase of their gym ownership. It might have been later on, but realistically, they didn't really put too much effort into the experience they were providing for their members. On the other hand, you have, these big box gyms that really know their audience. Ixos, for instance, versus Planet Fitness. Look at the difference in the way they promote their pricing with their audiences. Ixos focuses on more, I'm not going to say high-end, but business-oriented people that they know have a good amount of money. They make their facility really comfortable for that type of audience. Planet Fitness is much more, hey, they use lower weights. They focus on non-intimidation. And so they know that they're going to have a price point that's going to be more focused towards those types of people on the spectrum. And as you think about it, when you kind of think about both these types of facilities, you're going to see the same thing I am. One seems a lot more higher end. It really has this plethora of, this is the type of atmosphere that those types of people want to be to. So their price is higher. If you look at Planet Fitness, their price is lower. So you want to really start realizing that you really want to start thinking about the correlation between the pricing and the way the experiences are provided to your members, because that's really going to dictate. I tell clients all the time, they go, how can we double our top line tomorrow? And I say straight off the bat, if you can position yourself to the right market, right place, right experiences, you could probably double your prices tomorrow, lose half of your members, still make the same amount, and then start dictating future clients based off of this new price model, and you'd probably be pretty well off. And that's just a correlation between how you can easily make it to this level is really start thinking about those experiences that you're providing, start thinking about your customer, start thinking about your team and the people you bring in. And this is why it all comes back to you. As we get towards the end of this video, because I could rant with you guys all day, getting to that stage 3, even possibly stage 4 of gym ownership isn't really for the faint of heart. It's not going to be for all of you as gym owners. You may be fine with where you're at, but if you're really looking to push forward within your gym, start looking at that muscle memory. Start looking back at the things that you started to miss with your why, with your brand, with yourself, with your team, and start really working on the internal parts of your communication and the external parts of your communication so that you can start doing the things that you used to learn and help them be your guiding factor towards making your gym stronger and thriving to build much more of that community that I know that you all strive for. Now, if you want to learn more, I want you to check out this video I have right up here on how you can utilize your gym's visibility. And watch this video down here where we talk to Jessica Yarmy. She used to own her own gym, and we talk on how she started to build some strategies and how you can utilize those strategies. So again, check out that podcast down below. Again, I want to thank you all for being a part of this one, and I hope you all get it done.